Hey guys, Rushy here and welcome back to another video. Before I start this video, you might notice I'm looking slightly different, and the main reason is I've recently decided to shave my right eyebrow to blend in with my left eyebrow, which I've lost most of the hair off my left, as long-term viewers of this channel know, due to having alopecia areata, hair loss. And I thought I'd mention that as well because how I look and how people look will also tie into this video later on. So for this month's video, I've decided to talk about a topic and create a new series of videos that I haven't done before. This is going to be the first video in a series of videos I'm going to make over time, discussing my thoughts and opinions and providing my advice on people skills, social skills, communication skills, social attitudes, society in general. Another reason why I'm making this topic of videos is because I want to improve my social skills, because I do consider myself, to be socially awkward, especially when I was younger, but I am trying to improve my social skills now. And feel free to give me any advice you want to in return in the comment section. So, for my first video on this topic, I have decided to discuss respect, what I think respect means, and why I personally believe that respect should be given and not earned. You might have heard the saying before, or you might have heard someone say that they feel that you have to earn their respect. I personally don't feel this way. I think respect should be given automatically to anyone you meet for the first time, regardless of who they are. So in this video, I'm going to let you know why I feel that way, and also why I feel you should always respect yourself. The rare instances where I feel respect should not be given, and why. Give examples I've experienced of being disrespected and witnessing other people to being disrespected, and a rare occasion of me being slightly disrespectful to someone as well, and how karma plays its part in terms of what goes around comes around. So starting off with the term respect itself. So to understand fully what it means, I'm going to provide the official Oxford Dictionary definition of the two definitions given on the two different meanings of the words. So starting with the first meaning, according to the dictionary, respect is a feeling of deep admiration for someone or something elicited by their abilities, qualities, or achievements. And the second definition is that respect can also mean someone's due regard for the feelings, wishes, or rights of others. So we're going to focus on both definitions and what I feel the word personally means for me. And by respect, I mean being polite to this person, showing courtesy to this person, and kindness, dignity, and understanding. Being patient with people is also a good sign of being respectful. The term "you need to earn my respect," where I have an issue is, so we've all met someone for the first time, and that person has later gone on to become very close to us, either family or friend, business partner or colleague of some kind, an associate, an acquaintance. My point is, there was once a time where you didn't know this person, and for people who think respect should be earned and not given, for the first time you met this person, when you don't know anything about them or very little about them, and they know nothing or very little about you, does that automatically mean you have to be disrespectful to them and it's okay for them to disrespect you until you get to know each other? Well, I don't think that's acceptable. I don't think that's the way it should work. I personally believe everyone who you meet for the first time, no matter who they are, no matter how they look, that person deserves to be respected. And in turn, that person should respect you as well. Would you like it if someone was disrespectful, rude, unpolite, aggressive, overly assertive, or belittling or obstructive to you for no reason, just because they've never met you before and you haven't had the chance or opportunity to quote unquote earn their respect? I think most people would not want that and would not expect that. So that's why I feel you should not conduct yourself that way to someone else in return. And as the old saying goes, which I firmly believe in, and that is that you should treat others the way you would like to be treated. And I personally would like to be treated with respect. And I feel if we all lived that way, the world would be a much better place. And another reason why I feel you should always be respectful to people who you come across who you don't know is because you don't know what that person is going through in their own personal, private life. Life can be very difficult at times, and I believe we all go through our struggles. And a lot of times we keep these struggles private to ourselves, and other people might not be aware of what we are going through, especially strangers. So always be kind, be patient, be polite to people who you meet in your day-to-day life, because that act of kindness and respect can make their day go a little bit better and help them without you even knowing it, even though you don't know what they're going through and you don't understand what they're going through and you don't mean to make their day go any worse. Disrespectful actions can indirectly cause that. I also think we need to respect ourselves as well. And by that, I mean making decisions that are in our best interests, looking after ourselves, looking after our health, our physical health, our mental health, taking care of our wealth, and believing in ourselves. Try and achieve our potential. By doing all that, I think that will lead you on to try and become the best version of yourself, which is a video I made a topic on a few years ago, which I'll link in this video. A certain demographic of people who I think live by the motto that you need to earn their respect are people who feel they are better than others because of their abilities or their achievements or their social status. For example, I watched a video of a courtroom outburst in the USA. It was either a prosecution barrister or a defense barrister or solicitor having an argument with the judge in that case. I'm not sure what the case was. I don't even remember who the defendant was, and the judge, who was a woman, and the solicitor was a man. And the judge shouted at the solicitor, "You need to earn my respect." And from what she was saying, I can't remember what either of them were saying altogether, but from how she was coming across to me, she felt she was better than him. And she was being disrespectful to him, and in return, he was being disrespectful to her as well. And they had a big argument, and I think it ended with him leaving the courtroom. But that's just an example of people who I feel want to be respected, but not show as much respect in return, who feel they are better than others because of their position. And that's a pet peeve of mine, because I believe no matter what your achievements are, no matter what your abilities are, or what status you are in life, what job you have, how much money you have, you deserve respect and you should show respect in return. In my opinion, no one is better than anyone else. I feel that no one is any better than me, but I am no better than any of you either. And one thing that I think is completely unacceptable and intolerable is someone disrespecting someone else just because of the way they look, because of their ethnic background, because of their gender, because of their sexual orientation, if they look different in any kind of way, or perhaps behave different, for example, have a learning difficulty of some kind. I am a person with a visual difference because of my hair loss, and I have had experiences where I have been disrespected in the past because of the way I look. I've had a few people stare at me for long periods of times, looking at my hair loss on my head, any of my bald spots, and giving me a funny look, which I think is unacceptable. Now, I can understand someone who sees someone like me with my condition, because my type of hair loss is uncommon. They might think it's unusual and be perhaps a bit surprised or intrigued or curious. But really lengthy stares with no regard to the person who you're looking at personally make me really uncomfortable. And I think that's unacceptable and disrespectful. And that is why I would never stare at someone like that, especially if they have any kind of visual difference, because they don't deserve to be stared at just because of the way they look. It's not a nice feeling. And an example of me seeing someone with a visual difference, a few years ago in a supermarket, I seen a man, I'd say he's a middle-aged man, and he had a birthmark by his mouth where one side of his mouth, I think it was the left side, his side of his face, was quite bloated and His skin looked quite blue, and I believe that was a birthmark, something he was born with. I don't have a lot of understanding on those things, but I've seen people look like that on TV and in books before. But that was the first time I recall seeing someone like that in real life, in recent times anyway. I noticed him, I just gave him a quick look, and then I turned away, and he didn't even notice me looking at him because I didn't stare at him, because I knew what it was immediately. I actually felt sorry for him, because I don't think it looks that bad myself, but I know a lot of other people would make fun of someone like that, staring and being disrespectful, perhaps without meaning to be. So yes, don't disrespect anyone just because of the way they look, and try not to do anything that you might not mean to be disrespectful, but your behaviour is disrespectful. For example, staring at them. I suppose if you are curious, there's no harm in asking that person about, their condition, but do it in a kind, polite and respectful manner. And me having a visual difference myself, being visually different with my hair loss, I feel it has made me a better person in that way, because I understand what these people are going through, because I've experienced it myself. So because of that, I know how I would want to be treated in that situation, and how they would most likely want to be treated and dealt with. And I try my best to treat them the way I want to be treated by others. The only circumstances where I feel you don't need to show respect to someone is when they disrespect you for no reason, or perhaps they have done something to you in the past if you've known this person before, or if you know that they are perhaps not a nice person, they've committed some serious crimes in the past that have affected you, or committed serious crimes in general. And in my opinion, crimes such as serious physical or sexual abuse to an innocent person, especially a child, someone who commits those sorts of crimes doesn't deserve much respect, in my opinion, especially if they're not remorseful. That being said, I wouldn't go out of my way to be mean or nasty or vicious to this person, but I would not want anything to do with them whatsoever. Now, I'm going to give a couple of examples that I've experienced being disrespected, witnessing someone being disrespected, and also slightly disrespecting someone myself. To start with, the instance of witnessing disrespect. Recently, I was in a supermarket and I was at the checkout. There was a young lady servant, probably only a couple of years older than myself, and there was a middle-aged man in front of me, and he had a few items which he paid for, but during the checkout service, the woman said hi to him, he didn't respond. He didn't say please or thank you. Didn't say anything disrespectful to her, but his general attitude was of someone who was, disrespectful, not very polite, quite rude in my opinion. And I could tell that had a negative impact on the cashier, because next me and my man got served by her and she didn't even say hi to us. But we'd done nothing wrong to her, but that's how it affected her mood. But, we tried to stay respectful. We showed good manners. Once I paid the items and asked for a receipt, and I said thanks when she gave me the receipt. She did seem to appreciate that. She smiled, and, we left then. So, not a big serious issue, but just a general case of disrespect and how it can affect someone. That's one of the reasons why I wouldn't want to work in her role as a cashier, because I bet they are faced with a lot of disrespect, and customers even worse than that, really. And I don't feel like that my social skills are good enough to work a job like that, because I think to do a job like that you need to have good people skills, good communication skills. I'm trying to improve mine, and that's what the series of videos is about, what I've learned. Moving on to the case of me being disrespected, I was with a friend of mine last year, and we were going to a pub. We'd already been to another pub, so we were on a bit of a pub crawl, really. We were on a night out, and it was a special occasion for me because I don't go on night out very often. So it was quite late, and we were going to a pub we thought was open, but it turns out they just closed. And we found out when we knocked on the door, and I think it was the bartender or a member of staff come out and said, we're closed. And we both said, okay, thanks, letting us know, good night. They just gave us a funny look, didn't say anything, and just slammed the door in our face, really, which I found was a bit disrespectful because we'd been, so polite and courteous to them. Not a serious case of being disrespected. They didn't say anything mean or disrespectful to us, but, the way they treated us and dealt with us, I felt was a bit disrespectful. And now moving on to the case where I was disrespectful to someone and let myself down and let that person down. This was the year before, I think 2 years ago, where in a similar scenario, it was late at night in the same area, in the same town, on a night out with friends. We had just been to a pub, I had a meal, had a few drinks, and now we were ready to go home. But it's quite a walk to our home, and I wasn't driving at the time. And obviously I'd had too much to drink, so I couldn't drive anyway. But I don't think I even owned a car. I might have just passed my test, but I didn't have my car at the time. We decided to look for a taxi to take us home. And we found a taxi parked up close by. So it was decided that I would talk to them to find out if they were available. So I went over to the taxi. I think it was a silver mid-sized car, but anyway, I went to the driver's window and gave him a wave. He rolled down the window and I asked him, is he working and is he free? He was already booked and he was waiting for his fare, and he told me in a really respectful way, something along the lines of, oh, sorry buddy, but I've been booked, I'm waiting for my fare at the moment, something like that. Because I was gutted, because that was the only taxi there and couldn't see any other taxis, and this probably meant we'd have to walk home. So when I heard him tell me that, I went, like that. Let out a sigh and a moan, and I just turned my head and walked away. And then I heard him roll the window up. I didn't say anything disrespectful to him. At the same time, I felt I could have handled that situation better by instead saying, okay, no problem, thanks for letting me know, especially because he told me in such a kind and respectful way. And I felt, the way I reacted, he probably felt a bit disrespected by that, He's probably received a lot more worse things than that, but still, I felt that was a bit disrespectful. And I should have been a bit more respectful to him in that situation. And like I said, I didn't know what that taxi driver was going through. He seemed really nice. And I might have put a dampener on his night. The guy who worked at the pub put a little bit of a dampener on my night as well, especially because I'm a very sensitive person. It might not bother other people, but I have a very thin skin. And these things do upset me slightly, not to the point of tears or anything like that, but I do pick up on them. I do take these things personally sometimes. And that was before the incident at the pub. So in terms of karma, because I believe in karma and I believe what goes around comes around, in return for me disrespecting that taxi driver slightly, I got slightly disrespected later on by the member of staff at that pub. So yeah, I deserved that in a way because I was disrespectful to that taxi driver, and then that member of staff in the pub, not saying it's right what he'd done, but I deserved to be disrespected in a way because I was disrespectful to someone else. So it made me feel the way I probably made that person feel. And I've learned from that experience, and that's why from now on I'm trying to be respectful and courteous and polite and patient with everyone I meet. Okay guys, that concludes this video. So to summarize, I believe respect should be given and not earned. We all deserve to be shown respect, unless we've done something disrespectful. You don't know what someone might be going through in their own personal, private lives. We're all going through our own struggles, and a little bit of respect and common courtesy can go a long way, in my opinion. And I believe we are all equal in terms of the fact that no one is better than anyone else. And we all deserve to be respected, and we all deserve to show ourselves a little bit of respect as well. Thanks so much for watching this video, guys. This video will be in multiple playlists, and I'll include any information I forgot to include in this video in the description. And that's what I do with all of my videos. Any information I forget to include in any of my videos or any extra information, I always include in the description. All my videos have descriptions on them. So whenever you watch any of my videos, feel free to check the description, because there will always be information there. I'm really happy with the growth my channel has received this year in terms of views, subscribers, and the amount of people liking my videos as well. I really appreciate that. I'm planning on continuing with my monthly upload schedule for the foreseeable future. I've got a lot more videos planned for the rest of this year. And if you've made it this far in the video, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Feel free to let me know if you're subscribed to me, and I'll subscribe to you as well. I have a policy on here of subscribing to all the YouTube channels that have subscribed to me, especially if you create content yourselves. So if you're subscribed, let me know in the comment section. With all that being said, guys, take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you all next month in my next video. Goodbye.